Hello, America. Hello, world. Welcome to my stage, your platform. The election is over, and I want to congratulate everyone who voted for Biden on an amazing journey. A big shout out to all my Achimota, aka Motown, aka Akuras, and McCarthy House girls with whom I spent election week anticipating and discussing the updates as they rolled in. America has spoken, people, or at least the majority of Americans have said yes to President-elect Joe Biden and no, you are fired to Donald Trump. I have never seen so many people celebrate the result of an American election like they have this one. It feels as though most Americans and even non-Americans around the world have held their breath for 4 years. But after Biden was declared president, winner by the Associated Press, everyone finally remembered to exhale and was able to sleep throughout the night. Something they haven't been able to do during the 4 years of Trumpism. Just look at these highlights of joy and hope for the future.
Joe Biden will be the next president of the United States.
It's one of the great days in American history.
These fellas stink! Stink!
I am happy because Biden-Harris won and enough of the division under Trump.
This is the White House. This is the prize. And Joe Biden getting into that House has ended up being one of the biggest electoral turnouts in over a century.
This is what we needed. This is what we've been waiting for. It's a day of celebration. The sun is shining for us.
What is your message to the guy in the White House over there?
Your time's up. Time to go.
It is an unreal scene, Adrian. I've been in crowds like this before, but never anything like this. What do you think about this crowd?
It's awesome. It's amazing. I've never seen nothing like it.
We did it. We did it, Joe. You're going to be the next president of the United States.
Joe Biden is the president, but Kamala Harris is the vice president. How do you feel about that?
It's a big step for women, especially minority women, because she's the first minority to ever hold the vice presidency. So I may not
First woman, right?
First woman. I may not agree with everything that she's done, but this is a big step for women in general.
Pretty emotional. You know, I've been tired and dealing with what we've been dealing with in the country. I felt all alone, and to see all these people come out and really be excited that we're moving past that and we're moving to an era where we care about each other.
I am so happy. I feel like we've got rid of the trash.
There are 74 million Americans that voted for Biden. 70 million voted for Trump. So there's 4 more million Americans that voted for this. It shouldn't be this close.
Biden supporters danced and popped champagne in the streets of Philadelphia.
You know what? Goodness won. That's who won. Goodness, not Biden. Goodness.
Just about 45,000 votes handed Pennsylvania to the Democratic candidate and ended his roller coaster ride to an electoral college victory.
First of all, there's a huge relief, and there's almost the feeling of getting a new chance to basically rebuild transatlantic relations.
Más que ganar Biden es que ha perdido Trump.
Lo recibimos con gozo, pero a la vez un gozo muy amargo, porque hay dolor. Hay dolor de más de 12,000 personas que han muerto tratando de cruzar la frontera.
その一緒に前に進んでいこうっていうメッセージを彼からは受けたので、そこはいいなと思います。
More relieved and more ease.
台湾人会比较担心拜登跟中国很友好。
I think we've dodged a bullet. I think the world has dodged a bullet and we can refocus on what it means to be human.
Yeah, with Biden coming to power, I believe that it is a start of a downfall of a right-wing government. And not only it will be a good for the people of America also, but for the world in large.
So we as a Kashmiri hope that Biden will certainly come out with some of the most precise and perfect resolutions for Kashmir, because he is believed to be one of the most frank and one of the most outspoken persons in USA.
Sa présidence, quoi qu'il en soit, quoi qu'il arrive, aura marqué l'histoire des États-Unis et du monde. Et puis, à titre personnel, je trouve que c'est une bonne chose que les Américains ont tourné la page avec un nouveau président.
C'était plus une question politique, c'était une question vraiment de défense de la démocratie en fait.
Sono contenta, forse i democratici potevano fare meglio come candidato, ma tra i due senz'altro meglio Biden.
Una certa tendenza o comunque impostazione politica che tende più al populismo, un certo tipo di politica mirante a conquistare su basi di pregiudizio e un certo elettorato finirà, e credo che questo avrà degli influssi positivi non soltanto in America ma anche nelle altre nazioni, credo anche in Europa, perché l'America di solito in questo rappresenta un po' un elemento di traino.
Whether you're blue or red, that man didn't care about you. And I'm so excited to see a black woman in the White House, a brown woman in the White House, Indian American woman in the White House. And I'm so ready to see if America can hold itself accountable.
There must be a winner and a loser.
Let's go, it's a celebration. Oh, I'm so happy. Tears of joy, let's go. Yes, go Joe Biden. I know you won't let us down. And go Kamala. You go, girl.
Relief was palpable in the vice president-elect's home state.
I'm feeling jubilant. I'm so excited. I cannot contain my excitement.
It's like suddenly I can breathe again. We've all been just in hell in a way this last 4 years.
It means so much to have a president that will acknowledge that gay people, lesbians, bisexual, transgender actually exist, and then represent them with policy. We could not be happier to have Kamala Harris as our vice president.
And I have a 3-year-old niece, and she can look up to her and say, oh my gosh, I can do that and more. I'm going to embrace it. I'm taking back the flag. I think you'll be cracking. I'm taking back my blackness. I am so happy.
But the morning after Election Day, it was Biden supporters who actually surrounded the White House with reports that the cheering could be heard from inside the presidential home.
I believe that we have won.
It's just a wonderful feeling. I mean, look at everybody's eyes, even with this face mask. It's happiness. This is us. This is us now. Black, white, brown, any religion. That's why we're here. That's why it's called the United States of America. And that's what I'm feeling right now. I feel that I belong. Equality. We need to understand this. We are the champions, my friends.
They can go back and recount it 3 times, 11 times, 15 times. It'll be the same thing. This voter fraud, boogeyman that they keep throwing out is complete bunk. He lost. More people in this country wanted him gone than wanted him here.
For some Biden supporters, 4 years' worth of fear melted away.
I'm a child of a single mom, an immigrant, and I'm LGBT and Black. And this entire administration has been a repudiation on my entire existence.
For 4 years now, we have been under the rule of essentially almost fascist administration. Joe Biden is a great first step to get back on track, to be actually American people and not have the entire world be embarrassed and make fun of us.
Unity is key to our success, and it's my hope that we can really, truly all come together as a country.
Van, what are your thoughts?
It's well, it's easier to be a parent this morning. It's easier to be a dad. It's easier to tell your kids character matters. It matters. Telling the truth matters. Being a good person matters. And it's easier for a whole lot of people. If you're Muslim in this country, you don't have to worry if the president doesn't want you here. If you're an immigrant, you don't have to worry if the president's going to be happier to have babies snatched away or send dreamers back for no reason. This is vindication for a lot of people who have really suffered. The I can't breathe. That wasn't just George Floyd. That was a lot of people that felt that they couldn't breathe. Every day you're waking up and you're getting these tweets and you just don't know, and you're going to the store and people who have been afraid to show their racism are getting nastier and nastier to you, and you're worried about your kids and you're worried about your sister. And can she just go to Walmart and get back into her car without somebody saying something to her? And you spent so much of your life energy just trying to hold it together. And this is a big deal for us just to be able to get some peace and have a chance for a reset. And the character of the country matters. And being a good man matters. I just want my sons to look at this. Look at this. It's easy to do it the cheap way and get away with stuff, but it comes back around. It comes back around. And this is a good day for this country. I'm sorry for the people who lost. For them, it's not a good day. But for a whole lot of people, it's a good day.
Doesn't it feel as though a World War III has just been won? As the world celebrates, it isn't that surprising that Trump refuses to give in to a smooth and successful transition. As suspected, he's doing everything in his power to undermine our democracy. The damage he's trying to leave behind as revenge for losing this election is costing even more lives. Elizabeth Warren had this to say on Twitter this past week. Let's be clear, the Republicans who are staying silent, dodging questions or releasing wishy-washy say-nothing statements as this administration refuses to concede and spread daily disinformation are complicit in a dangerous attack on the core foundation of our democracy. And she is correct. But unsurprisingly, who is Trump thinking about? Himself, of course. What else is new? I have been waiting for 4 long years to be able to officially say this. This is Celebrity Apprentice White House. Mr. Trump, you're fired. I'm sorry. Sorry, you're fired. You're fired. You are feels so good to say. Look at the smile. I can't stop smiling. Here comes the rain, so it's a good night. It's going to be a good night. You are fired. We all know that you lost this election with no voter fraud or any shenanigans. The votes have been recounted and the results are the same. You lost, bro. You lost. I may be the minority here, but I'm actually shocked that Trump expected to win a second term after all of this.
Written by a nice reporter. Now the poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember. He's going like, I don't remember. Oh, maybe that's what I said.
That reporter he is talking about is Serge Kovaleski, who now works for the New York Times. As you can see right there, he suffers from a chronic condition that impairs movement of his arms. A Times spokesman says they find it outrageous that Trump would ridicule the man.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know. If I lose to him, I don't know what I'm going to do. I will never speak to you again. You'll never see me again. They're getting tired of the pandemic, aren't they? Getting tired of the pandemic. You turn on CNN, that's all they cover. COVID, pandemic, COVID. You know why? They're trying to talk everybody out of voting. People aren't buying at CNN, you dumb bastards. They're not buying it. That's all they talk about. Go ahead. Sure. She's shocked that I picked her. No. She's like in a state of shock.
I'm not thinking, Mr.
That's
President.
okay. I know you're not thinking. You never do.
I'm sorry?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
This election was truly an election of our lifetime. The majority of American citizens saw that fascism was making a comeback and they rose to fight in record numbers. Let me tell you what actually happened, Mr. Trump. They voted and shut down the uprising of a dictator ruler like shit through a goose, yo. Fool me once, Trump, shame on me. Fool me twice, Nope, not happening. Not today. I couldn't be more proud of what the American people have done to save this country, its reputation, and its government. Thank you, America. Thank you so much for bringing back the tradition of governing with a moral backbone. It is such a shame, however, that the majority of the Republican Senate who have shown zero interest in protecting the Constitution and its rule of laws, coupled with the GSA's unwillingness to ascertain Biden as the election winner and to continue blocking millions of federal funds needed for a smooth and safe transition work, has led Joe Biden to set up a transition fundraising. But finally this week, we heard that the head of the GSA, Emily Murphy, has informed President-elect Joe Biden that the administration is ready to begin the formal transition process. So that's great news, right? Looks like it's official. We have a new president, President Joe Biden. And look at this miraculous statement from Trump.
I want to thank Emily Murphy at GSA for her steadfast dedication and loyalty to our country. I believe we will prevail. Nevertheless, in the best interest of our country, I am recommending that Emily and her team do what needs to be done with regard to initial protocols and have told my team to do the same.
Just when I thought he was finally coming around, he goes and asks for a recount of results already recounted. Ay, Dios míos. Emily Murphy wanted to make clear that, listen to this.
I was never directly or indirectly pressured by any executive branch official, including those who work at the White House or GSA, with regard to the substance or timing of my decision.
What Trump and his administration did by delaying this transition, which should have taken place weeks ago, could leave this country in a vulnerable state. Do you all remember this day? Finally, Chris Christie and a few other Republicans with some backbone had this to say.
I've been a supporter of the president's. I voted for him twice. But elections have consequences. And we cannot continue to act as if something happened here that didn't happen. Quite frankly, the conduct of the president's legal team has been a national embarrassment. They allege fraud outside the courtroom, but when they go inside the courtroom, they don't plead fraud and they don't argue fraud. If you're unwilling to come forward and present the evidence, it must mean the evidence doesn't exist.
I thought the pressuring of the legislators to try to somehow, change the outcome with electors was completely outrageous. We're beginning to look like we're a banana republic.
No one has come up with any evidence of any fraud. No one's found a pickup truck with a bunch of ballots in it.
Of course, inside the courtroom, the Trump legal team can't lie under oath because there will be consequences. But on TV, they continue making false statements and claims of voter frauds. Dead people rising from the grave only to vote and head back to the graves. Machines created by President of Venezuela, Hugo Rafael Chavez, who, by the way, has been dead for 7 years. One of the judges gave the Trump legal team this advice.
The judge in this case saying this: one might expect that when seeking such a startling outcome, a plaintiff would come formidably armed with compelling legal arguments and factual proof of rampant corruption. That has not happened. Instead, this court has been presented with strained legal arguments without merit and speculative accusations unpled in the operative complaint and unsupported by evidence.
What standard of review should I apply in this case?
On a motion to dismiss? Well, I mean, I think the normal one.
Are you arguing then that strict scrutiny should apply here?
No, the normal scrutiny should apply. If we had alleged fraud, yes, but this is not a fraud case.
Trump legal team say their claim is not that of a fraud, and so what is it then? They claim there's voter fraud only outside the courtroom, but inside the courtroom they say something completely different because they don't want to get into trouble for lying under oath. When is this going to end? Why the desperate need to hold on to power? If it isn't a fraud case, then what is it? Please, what is it? When is this nonsense going to end? Aren't you guys fatigued? Like, seriously. And while people are dying of the coronavirus, this is what Trump will rather do instead of being the people's president for the few weeks he has left.
This appears to be video of Donald Trump on the golf course today, right around the time, we believe, that the news was being delivered.
What a shame. Please, just leave with the little dignity you may possibly have left and let Biden and his transition team get to work, please, because there's a lot of work to do. If Fox News isn't buying what you're selling, Fox News, then come on. What does that tell you all? Huh? What does that tell us all? Anyways, now let's move on to the main topic of the day. After the election results were announced with Biden declared the 46th president of the United States, some Trump supporters took to social media to write statements like, defeat socialism and say no to socialism. And a few even expressed their concern that they will not survive life under President-elect Joe Biden. For those of you who may share that sentiment, why do you think you can survive under President Biden when you made it just fine under Donald Trump, who has proven to be a compulsive pathological liar and a narcissistic spokesman for baseless conspiracy theories? If you can survive under Trump, whose presidency will forever be defined by his dishonesty, lack of morals, and bullying behavior, a president who violated our nation's constitution, a president who contributed to the death of thousands from the COVID-19 because he downplayed the severity of the virus, a president who managed to undermine every aspect of our democracy, and above all, a president who would rather leave the country in a lurch than concede, thanks to the support of Republican senators like Mitch McConnell, Ted Cruz, and Lindsey Graham, who cuddle him like they would a 2-year-old. If you can survive all of that and all the shenanigans I'm about to show you, then surely you can survive under Biden. Believe me when I tell you this, not only are you going to survive Biden's presidency, but you will be cruising through it. You might even catch a wave of normalcy thanks to government that supports facts, human decency, honor, and respect for everyone who calls this beautiful nation home. And for those of you out there who are calling Vice President Kamala Harris a hoe, come on now. I know some of you. Come on.
But while I may be the first woman in this office, I will not be the last. Every little girl watching tonight sees that this is a country of possibilities. And to the children of our country, regardless of your gender, our country has sent you a clear message. Dream with ambition.
Come on now. Jealousy is not good, though. We all know that she's the type of woman a parent hopes their child will be. She's strong-minded, intelligent, and determined. And she's grateful for the opportunities this country has given her. And for that reason, I believe that she will proudly and thoughtfully bring new opportunities to the United States and its people. For anyone who is concerned about Biden winning, I hope this video puts your mind at ease and assures you that Biden isn't a socialist simply because he's a Democrat, and Democrats are not socialists. There's nothing to fear but fear itself, as Franklin Roosevelt has famously said. I'm sure that most of you know that America has a capitalistic economy. But what most of you yelling defeat socialism may not know is that America has also been a quasi-capitalistic socialistic nation for years. We need capitalism, our profit motor, which is designed to motivate people to work to earn money. We also need socialism, which serves as a safety net. Things like unemployment, disability, child welfare, child labor laws, and workplaces where the government intervenes. That, my friends, is all socialism. Even Medicare and Medicaid passed under President Johnson are all forms of socialism. We need all of those things to make ourselves a workable society. In brief, the simple difference between socialism and capitalism is that capitalism is based on individual initiative and favors market mechanism over government intervention, while socialism is based on government planning and limitation on private controls of resources where basic needs are met to benefit citizens. The United States and most of Europe tend to combine elements of both systems. Now that you understand the basic economic system within the United States, you can rest assured that a man like Biden will work towards enhancing the quality of life for the average American, growing the economy, supporting small businesses, and lowering taxes for people making less than $400,000. Some billionaires, including Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Michael Bloomberg, Mark Cuban, Mark Benioff, Ray Dalio, George Soros, Eli Broad, Pierre Omidyar, and Hans-Young Weiss, have publicly called for the United States to support higher taxation of the wealthy. Others like Carl Icahn, David Tepper, Mark Zuckerberg, and Michael Dell want the exact opposite, stating that higher tax rates would send dollars to the government that are better managed in philanthropist hands. Our taxes, among many things, provide improved education for our children, a solid infrastructure, and increased safety and protection for the people of this country. For most of us middle-class citizens, initiatives like Social Security, which, as I mentioned earlier, is tied to a socialistic economy, will act as a safety net and a form of economic relief during our senior years. So you see, what goes around comes around. And if you are one of those people who believe that Democrats are socialists, know that even you are a beneficiary of a partly socialistic economy. I urge you to understand the economic system of the United States before going out there lifting a banner and fighting against your own interest. Next time you want to march and chant, defeat socialism and say no to socialism, fight socialism, or fight socialism, ask yourself this question: will I rather work very hard today, pay my share of taxes, and gain a safety net that I can rely on? Even if you aren't thinking of your future, think of your children's, because they are the future. Pave the way forward for them. That is called progress, a slow but steady step to leaving the world in a better state than the one you were born into. Empower the next generation to continue the progress which I hope includes and accepts everyone from all walks of life. My desire, which I know other people share, is that diversity and culture will someday unite us all, and that the days of racial discrimination will be a thing of the past. Thanks for listening, friends. If you liked today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Yes, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you're new to this channel, I welcome you. Thanks to all my subscribers for being part of the Q Train Wagon. My social media info is on this page, so click away and let's get acquainted. Leave any comments you have in the comment section or email them directly to me at susieakunyade@gmail.com and I will get back to you. Till next time, be safe and smart. Do not forget to wear your mask. Protect your friends and family by protecting yourselves first. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving and are enjoying the rest of your week. Stay blessed and cheerio, baby. Oh, I almost forgot to mention that. I almost forgot one thing. A former president of the Ghana Republic and a student of my alma mater, Achimota Secondary School, Akora President Jerry John Rawlings, class of 1966, passed away on November 12, 2020 after a brief illness. The New York Times summarized his legacy perfectly, acknowledging the fact that Mr. Rawlings left behind a contradictory legacy. A brutal beginning when he first seized power in 1979 in a military coup to a future that led Ghana on a course of democracy, where he served 2 presidential terms by free election and established Ghana as a rare democratic example on the continent of Africa. Jerry John Rawlings is regarded as a founding father for steering Ghana to democracy. He died at age 73. I attended junior secondary school with his oldest daughter, who is now a doctor and a politician in her own right, Dr. Zeneto Ajiman Rawlings. Yaa Santua Rawlings, his second born, was also a fellow student and in my class as well. Both were brilliant students. My condolences to the family. May his soul rest in peace. I will see you all next time.
No! Help me, Rudy Juan Giuliani. You're my only hope. May the fraud be with you always.